Okay, this is one of the big three that we're always talking about. Again, put in the work, bankroll management, patience. So over the next couple months, you're going to see a lot of ridiculous screenshots from people on Twitter, and they're going to be acting like they don't lose. And this is whatever they did that week, they're doing on a regular basis. Now, the first thing that you want to look at is make sure that they're showing what the money that they had in play is showing versus what the money that they won is in play. The reason that's important is because let's say a guy has $25,000 in play and he shows, he won 100 grand for a $75,000 profit, but you haven't heard from him all season. That tells me that this guy has been losing $25,000 a week, which at some of the higher stakes is very possible. So don't get too caught up in that. So have patience developing your own thing. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Just focus on becoming as good of a player as you can possibly be, because I'm about to introduce you into something that Blazer and I have called the 13-17 rule. So what I'm about to show you is going to open your eyes to the reality of NFL football, DFS. So let's go back to our spreadsheet and let's look at a guy right here, Chipotle Addict. So he won almost $400,000, and I'm just going to use the screen here. Look at all of the red. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. He lost 12 weeks. So if you go through this sheet, and again, if you want it, I can send it to you. Look at all of the red. Look at how much red is here. Even a guy like Giant Squid, who won $1 million. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 losing weeks. So if you go through this, you're going to see on average, most people only had 3 to 6 winning weeks. So if you go back to our rule of 13-17, you're probably going to lose 3 out of the 4 weeks. So when you see people celebrating on Twitter, making it look like that's what they do on a regular basis, it's not. They're losing quite a bit. Osimo, currently number one ranked player in the world. He barely profitable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 losing weeks. If he doesn't have his $400,000 winning week, he has a losing season. So just be patient. So if you're not getting the results that you want the first month, that's okay. That's typical for everybody that's about to play this game. So these are just main slate results. So, some of these guys could have had better seasons, but, just keep this in mind. If you're struggling or it doesn't start out the way that you want to, the best in the world, it's happening to them too. Oops. So who can you trust? So, let's just do a couple name searches. So I talked about SaberSim. One of the masterminds behind SaberSim is Giant Squid, over $1 million in profit. Let's search Drew Dinkmeyer, the mastermind behind Daily Roto. $100,000 winner. Let's look at Mike Leone, his counterpart. Profitable. So this is what I'm saying. If you're going to spend money on a site, look up who the guy is. And this isn't going to paint the entire picture. So I'm not trying to, first, you're going to see a very surprising name on here of a guy who lost close to $100,000, and that's a bad season. It could have just been a bad season. He could have had great seasons doing this in the past, So don't rake anybody over the coals over it, but just gives you an idea of, hey, the best in the world, especially the guys that are posting a lot of screenshots, be very wary because they like to think that there's not as much red on theirs and there is. So, just be careful of who you trust, do your homework. If you wanted to see my DraftKings CSV, I would happily show it to you. I would download it. I download it every single day. Anybody that wants to see it, I have nothing to hide. You can look at every single contest. I play it at DraftKings. If you want to see my FanDuel one, my Yahoo one, I'll show it to you. I have nothing to hide. I know what it says. That's why I don't have a problem sharing this information with you guys and why I'm okay with, hey, why should you be, who are you to talk about this? I'm a winning player. I have over 3 years of successful results. A lot of these guys, I would be willing to bet, don't have a track record like that. And a lot of the times, the guys that are just trying to get your money are the ones that are just showing you what they did when they had a big week, and not showing you all of the bad weeks that they had. So I hope that helps you when you're thinking about being patient and who to give your money to. And again, process over variance. NFL is a very high variance sport. A lot can change. If a game goes into overtime and a guy scores a late touchdown or someone gets that late rushing yard bonus, there's a handful of things that can change things very quickly. So don't complain if it doesn't go your way. Just get back in the lab, study more, get better, be better, not bitter, and you're gonna have a very successful season. Even if you don't win money, you can still have a successful season. A lot of the times in my career, it's a pretty much like a 4-year trajectory. Year 1 you lose, year 2 you're hovering around break even. Year 3 you start to show a little bit of a profit, and year 4 things really start to take off for you. So you really need to have patience, not just for a season. If you want to do this for the long haul, you need to have patience for multiple years, because a lot of guys don't have that patience. And on the Petty Theft podcast, we talked about some of the guys that he came up with that are no longer around because they didn't exercise some of the good habits that we're trying to build, and not just build but keep. So that comes back to knowing yourself. If you don't have a very high risk tolerance, or you're too impatient, just be aware of that so that you can counteract that in your play and your approach. If you're aware of it, you can execute a much better behavior or change your behavior. It's when we're on tilt and we are frustrated, or we had a bad week, and then we see a guy on Twitter post a screenshot, and then we get jealous, and now we're even more upset. Now our family members are irritated with us, and something that went from supposed to be a lot of fun just went to hell in a handbasket that quickly. So know yourself, know your shortcomings, and be aware of that, so you don't create any mental game leaks as you try to become a better player. So just be patient. Just understand you're probably going to lose 3 out of 4 weeks playing NFL. And that goes back to why we want to make sure we're picking the right contest and exercising good bankroll management. See you guys in the final segment.